Hello YouTube, Bookham Dano here with the Peanut. Oliver Queen,
So
take it away.
we're gonna do comics and a cocktail.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Wait, it's bad luck today.
Very good.
So basically, I think my husband is the most interesting man in the world. But he's my husband, so I'm a little biased. So we're gonna just try to get to know you a little bit more because you don't normally. He's not open book like me. We're complete opposites, I would say. So I think his collecting is super cool, and I love his channel. And so I'm going to ask you just a couple questions while we enjoy a nice adult beverage. How about that?
Sounds good.
All comic
Sounds
related. You guys will get to see some cool comics too.
Yeah,
So-
brought some stuff to show you.
Yeah. All right. So, what got you interested in comics?
That is a great question. As a kid, I was very minimally involved with comics. I did no superheroes. I mean, I liked, superhero stuff, but I didn't read the superhero comics. As a kid, I read like Sergeant Rock and GI Combat, the military stuff, because that's what I was really interested in as a kid. So I read those, but never really thought about collecting as being a hobby or anything. And then as a grown-up, there are a couple things that spurred it. One was the Watchmen movie. A friend of mine bought that movie and gave it to me, I think, for my birthday. And I watched it, and I was like, wow. And so from there, I wanted to read Watchmen, which I did, and then kind of got into I saw that there was that whole run of before Watchmen. So I started looking at those. But when it came to actually wanting to collect, it was really spurred by a gift you gave me, which was
really?
that Batman and Philosophy book.
Oh, that's a good book.
Because I started reading that book, being interested in both Batman and philosophy, right? It seemed the book was fascinating. However, it made reference to all these Batman stories that I realized I didn't know. And to give you an example, a big part of it was, why doesn't Batman just kill the Joker?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a good question.
so, it's a very good question. And then they started talking about this Jason Todd character, and I was like, who? Because Robin's Dick Grayson, that's all I knew. So that just kind of shows you how ignorant I was when I started. So because of that, I realized I wasn't going to be understanding this book until I read some of these comic stories. So that's what really got me started.
Very cool.
So it's your fault.
Thanks. It usually is. All right. So what are your favorite comics to collect?
Oh, so, Batman, that's going to be the main one right there. As far, Batman's on the pull list, so is Detective Comics. Get those, read those faithfully.
Do you prefer Golden Age, Silver Age, Modern Age?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. For collecting, I prefer the older books. I think most people do. However, I am not I guess I'm kind of equal opportunity, because I also, in addition to, wanting those first appearances, and that's the key issues, I also really appreciate the art. So modern books that have a fantastic cover, we've got a lot of those, and I'm not, maybe I should be ashamed, but I'm not ashamed to say that.
You're sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. I like a nice cool cover art.
Me too.
So one of the things I like to do is collect. I ran across this. This isn't my idea. Somebody else mentioned it, and I thought, hey, that's really cool. But that's to collect birthday books.
You're leading into my next question.
Oh,
Did
all
you
right.
read? Did you read my questions?
No.
That was seriously okay. So you like to collect your birthday books. What does that mean, and which one is your favorite?
So great question. What does that mean? That means books that were printed the month I was born. Although, technically they came out a couple months earlier than that, but they have March.
So
my
that would
birthday
be
was March of 1969. So,
so yeah, we'll do that.
yeah, put these up here. So there's a couple cool things about that.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you something to look for, and it's fun to find them. But for me in particular, Neil Adams was really just kind of bursting onto the scene, and he did many of the covers for my birthday books, which is really cool. So, for example, this is Justice League number 70, Neil Adams cover. And you can see this is a pretty high grade copy. Real nice there with the Creeper Justice
I like
League
the
story.
string.
Yeah. So that's really cool. I have a bunch of them here that I can just show off real quick. Here's Incredible Hulk 113. Nice Sandman cover.
So these are all March 1969.
These are all from March 1969. Yeah. That's the published date on them. They were, like I said, would have been on newsstands a little before that. So this is Doctor Strange 178.
Very cool.
So it's pretty cool. One nice thing about doing it this way, I don't know, for myself, there's not any, or not very few anyway, key issues in this, so it's not too difficult to put together fairly high-grade runs of these. Now, I haven't read all of these, but I can tell you this Detective Comics story is great. Can you maybe...
We'll swap
this out. This is Die Small, Die Big. It is a fantastic story. Basically, this mailman overhears bad guys plotting how they're going to set an ambush for Batman and kill him.
What?
Yeah.
Mailmen! I'm telling you, respect your mailmen right now.
So this mailman decides, well, I don't have time to warn Batman, so I'm just going to show up there faster than, I'm going to go there and spring this trap or whatever, and hopefully Batman will save me, but if not, I did a great deed for the world.
Most people that have interacted with mail people probably have thought, if only Batman could save me, especially if a blonde monster comes through the door. So which one?
Yeah, so male people, they are they're important. They should be respected more. And they played a key role in saving Batman's life. Yeah. Little known story, little known fact. So it's very cool cover. I believe this again is a Neil Adams.
Neil Adams did a lot of
cover.
your birthday books.
And what is it? Detective 385, I think. Yeah. And it's just back in the day, most of the stories were just one shot. The whole issue, the story would be contained in one issue, which I kind of appreciated. Sometimes it's a little rough when you have, a 18-issue story arc, and you can get a little lost on the way sometimes. But that is really a great story. You hear, the Silver Age stories weren't all that great sometimes, but that one is really solid. Here's Batman 210.
This is one of my favorite.
Yeah, this is a tough cover to find in high grade. I know that because ETA Nick said so.
Shout out to ETA
Shout out to
Nick.
ETA Nick.
I see
He knows what
you
he's talking about.
charting your finance stuff these days.
Yeah, Warren Buffett of comics, for sure.
You're
But-
in finance.
Yeah, for a minute. Here's another. Again, I believe this is a Neil Adams cover. Whoops.
Yes.
Like
Yes,
that.
I believe so.
That's Brave and the Bold 82, I think. Yep.
I
nice.
think I got you
Yeah, you got
Well,
me one of those.
one of those.
You got me the Batman one. So, and then we have plenty of Marvel titles in here. That's a beautiful cover. One of my favorites, Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, number 64, I think. Yeah. And,
That's nice.
you know, just really cool. This would be pretty high grade book called The Peacemonger. Symbol on there. So I'm grateful to have some very cool covers, I think, in the birthday book collection. Amazing Spider-Man number 70.
That's a classic cover
Yeah,
right there.
it is, and I've seen
Yeah.
this cover used on different like collections of Spider-Man and that sort of thing. We got that at Galactic Greg's a couple years ago.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
turned in used some trade credit maybe,
Yeah.
but it's yeah, that was in their case for a while. This, when I got it, it was inexpensive. I'm not sure. I haven't looked for it lately. Iron Man number 11, I think. Another pretty tight
Very
cover.
Cool. Here. I think they only fit 3.
Gotcha. Yeah, just a few more of these here, but I like showing them off. Daredevil number 50.
Very cool. Daredevil. You can't go wrong with Daredevil.
Yeah, really enjoying the Chip Zdarsky run that's currently going.
Ooh.
So I was so
Combat.
excited to get this GI Combat. I think it's 134.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a really cool cover.
Because, you know, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you know, Sergeant Rock, GI Combat, Haunted Tank, that was my jam,
That was your
back
jam.
when I was a kid. And I didn't really think of them as comics, you know, it was more like I was reading military history here. So
That's cute.
I was I read this book and I was so disappointed. The story was, you know, okay, but if you can, you know, you see the cover, you know, tanks rolling up and there's a kind of a baby hidden in the rubble, and that does not appear anywhere in the story. This scene, not in the story. So it was a little.
They were
I was,
pulling at the heartstrings during the time.
I gotta
That-
say, if it was back in the day, I would have wanted my 12 cents refunded.
You probably would have loved it.
Probably.
Oh, this is another one.
Yeah, now this is a cool issue. This
Yeah.
is the Flash 186. And so these kids are just found the bones of the Flash in this cave. And this is the last one I have to show. I have a few more books. I'm still working on it though. This is the last one I brought for today. This is Thor 162. This is a little bit of a key issue, or at least it's part of a key story. It's the origin of Galactus. There's a 3-issue series there. So I don't know if it starts with 160 and then 161 and 162. I think that's how it goes. So this is kind of the last part of that story. But I got, it was a birthday book, so I wanted it. But I also got interested in this Galactus storyline in Thor because of the current Donny Cates run in Thor. If you're reading that, it all makes sense. It all goes together. And, you know, they're pretty cool covers. So anyway, that's one thing I do with collecting.
Okay, so I just have one more question
Certainly.
because I have tons of questions. You guys probably want to know about Bookham Dano, and we have plenty of wine, beer, and bourbon to do
sure they
lots
don't,
of these.
That's great.
So, okay, so you like to collect and sell comics. So what is your best find? This is a two-parter. what is your best find of a book, and how much did you buy it for and sell it for?
Okay, so yeah, that's a great question. For the personal collection, the best find was a Jimmy Olsen 134, which is the first appearance of Darkseid, first cameo anyway. And again, Neil Adams cover, it's gorgeous. I bought it at an online auction. It was like an estate sale. It wasn't an eBay auction. And it was like a run of, like, say, 133 through 139 or so. So is that the first Jack Kirby work at DC, I think? But the pictures weren't great that they provided for this, but I decided what they, were probably worth, and I, set a price in my. Anyway, I won the auction at what I thought was a, fair price. Sent it in to get graded, and it came back a 9.2, which makes it a, on a good day, that's a 4-figure book, which is awesome. No real plans to sell that, but I have found just like antique mall shopping. I found a couple of.
Yeah.
I bought 2 comics, and these aren't like big killer stories or anything, but certainly found a couple of $5 comics that I was able to turn around and sell pretty quickly. One of them was, I think it's Marvel Team Up. Is it 141? That's one of those 3 issues that's all considered the first appearance of the black suit for Spider-Man. I just turned that one around and sold it, auctioned it on eBay, and $5 to $40 or $50. Not a write home to mama kind of moment or anything. But I also found for $5 a Nova #1, and I don't have it in my possession yet. Galactic Regs has it because they got it graded for me. But that came back as a 9.4.
Wow.
So, and that's kind of a hot book at the moment. There's some speculation about the Nova character. So that was kind
very
of a
cool.
fun win.
Well, cheers to everybody out there. Cheers to you, Danny. And we'll do more of these. We have to drink since bad luck if we don't.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.
This kind of content is cool. Let us know, and maybe we'll make some more.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, everybody.